Yes, your boy Crypto Blood, and welcome to another episode of My 2 Cents. This morning, we're looking at something that actually happened yesterday, starting around 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Federal Reserve Bank had a glitch in their ACH system. That is the automatic clearinghouse system that they have that many of you in America know about. But it has delayed millions of deposits for individuals around the country. And I don't know. I mean, you could put on your tinfoil hat. You can get conspiratorial if you want. I'll let you, do that. Tickle your own fancy with that. But I'm just going to report on the news here. And also, I don't know if you guys know about this new FedNow system, which is actually looking to replace the ACH antiquated system we've been running on for many years now. And, people say American exceptionalism. Listen, we're so far behind in so many infrastructural technologies, from 5G to chips in our credit cards and debit cards. India has one of the most advanced payment systems on the globe. We're going to look at this. China's not far behind. They're actually, I think, even better because everything is kind of integrated within their mobile networks. So people don't even have cash in China. They don't even accept it in most areas. Not saying that's a good thing. I'm just saying technologically, they're so much further than we are. Yet we think we're just this exceptional society. We really are falling behind. But again, we're going to look at what Google suggests as far as the new FedNow system. They think that they should model it after the India's UPI system. And so we'll review that recommendation here in a second. But before we start, if you guys find these types of videos informative, make sure you like, share, and subscribe, and click that bell to receive more videos like this. Before we get started, though, look at that. What do you know? New 52-week high for the Dow Jones, closing up 137% off the backs of an impeachment that has not been an impeachment. Whoa, that is a whole nother situation. Maybe I'll touch on it over the weekend. But Nancy Pelosi and the House voted on an impeachment. And the crazy thing is, people, no Republicans voted for it. Now, that's unprecedented. In addition to that, you had one Democrat leave the Democratic Party to join Republican Party because he was just fed up with this nonsense. And then you had one other vote present and one vote no. So you had two vote no, one present, and one of the three actually left the party. It kind of should tell you what the hell is going on here. But anyway, off the backs of the impeachment announcement, we're up 137 points on the Dow. Some may say this is just correlation. Some may say it's causation. You be the judge of that. But what I want to just show you is that we're melting up higher and higher. We'll be at 30,000 Dow probably by the middle of next year. And I think it's a combination of things, Fed policy, historic manipulation in the markets with the repo markets and low interest rates and all of that. By the way, and I'll touch on this maybe in another video, but the yield curve is starting to steepen. So it's not flat anymore. We're starting to see a steepening of the yield curve, which means that the markets, take them for whatever you want, but the markets are thinking that everything is fine now. Insane, I know, but gold down 0.21% or $3 today. But you can see a trend is slightly heading higher. If we can take out that 47.86, 87 level, maybe we can start to make newer highs here. But let's take a look at this article that I saw out of CNBC initially. Federal Reserve Bank glitch delayed direct deposits to bank accounts. It says a glitch at the Federal Reserve delayed direct deposits and other financial transactions at banks across the U.S. Federal Reserve Bank Services said its automated clearinghouse network began experiencing a disruption on December 18th at around 3:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The Fed added in its statement that technicians have resolved the issue but apologized to the banks. The central bank said payment files for December 18th have been completed, though some transactions reports will be delayed. The Fed did not comment on the cause of the temporary glitch. Of course not. This is not the first time. This is, I think, the second major outage this year with this system. What is going on here, people? What is going on? Are there cyber attacks? Is it foreign, surveillance in countries attacking the system? Who knows? But this is kind of the mainstream media coverage of the situation. But let's go over to Zero Hedge. Where they go into a little bit more detail regarding the situation. It says as they first reported, Key transactions, most notably funding via direct deposits, were delayed after ACH, which stands for Automatic Clearing Housing System, were delayed after ACH experienced delays, but it is now up and running. The Fed ACH service, which processes transactions for commercial banks, is currently operating normally after experiencing delays in processing yesterday's afternoon and early this morning. Gene Tate, a spokesperson at the Atlanta Federal Reserve, which hosts the central bank's retail payments office processing ACH transactions, said some customers experienced delays in receiving confirmations of yesterday's transactions. Federal Reserve technical staff continue to investigate the root cause of the issue. So it starts off as saying in recent years, banks and credit card processors had blamed hackers, blackouts, infrastructure inefficiencies, and of course the Russians for periodic service outages. As of today, they are now blaming the Fed itself. Starting around 7 a.m., there was a surge of outages reported at Capital One. That was one of the banks most affected by this outage, with Down Detector noting that while focused on the Northeast, the outage was nationwide. So check this out here, a map of the outages, heavily concentrated on the East Coast there. According to Capital One, network issues at the Federal Reserve were causing certain banking transactions to be delayed. Capital One then said that they were monitoring the situation closely with partners with the Fed. Capital One also says it will make sure transactions are posted as soon as possible, as soon as the Fed issues are resolved. During the day, customers on Twitter of Capital One and other banks have complained that their direct deposits have been delayed. So look at these tweets. These are hilarious. They're not funny, but I mean, people in this society today, we're instant gratification. We need things right away. This person says, hey, my employees who have Capital One need the money we deposited into their accounts. Is there anything we can print out as a company to assure them that they were paid and that we did our part? This is a lot. Wow. Another one says, how do you not even notify your customers that issues such as direct deposits won't be working? I'm over here pissed because y'all can't get y'all shit together. Pamela Richardson said, I need my money. I have bills to pay. Man, it just goes on and on. It just shows you the fragileness of this system. You know, we're one blackout or one huge glitch or hack away from chaos, if you ask me. Even the Navy's credit union said that they were having issues and they were apologizing on Twitter as well. Sorry for the confusion. Who is sending your direct deposit? If it's military pay, we have not yet updated the posting calendar with the new updates for the next year. Amanda says, anyone else getting a direct deposit error? This person says, normally my direct deposit has hit already by the time I get up on payday, but it's not here yet. And it's really not a laughing matter. I mean, you have people, and statistics show majority of people bank on, they need that money immediately. People are living check to check. They can't afford not having their money on payday. And so it's around Christmas time as well. This is very interesting to see this happen right now. My gut feeling, and this is no evidence at all, my gut feeling is that there were some malicious attacks occurring. There is an update on this whole situation. It says, with reports of direct deposits failing to clear still ongoing, Bloomberg reported that the Federal Reserve was investigating the second significant disruption in 2019 of payments service administered by the U.S. Central Bank. They also said that ACH is a national system that processes batches of electronic funds transfers, such as payroll, Social Security benefits, tax refunds, corporate payments to vendors, and utility payments. According to the Fed's website, the commercial service handles 58.5 million transactions a day on average in 2018, with an average value of $1,760. Bloomberg also adds that the Fed website dedicated to the central bank's payment processing service posted a notification at 9:57 a.m. New York time on Thursday saying the federal ACH services application began experiencing disruptions on December 18th. So it's actually happened 2 days ago at 3:30 p.m. The first major disruption this year was on April 1st. Go figure. See, that's what I'm saying, people. The first disruption was on April 1st. Come on. April Fools, right? Well, you guys give me your 2 cents on the subject. And do you think this was a hack and some type of nefarious activity going on? My gut feeling is saying that it was. And speaking of national payment systems, Google suggests that modeling the FedNow system, which is the new version of the what we have now, the ACH system, after India's UPI, a strategy that would most benefit big tech firms. Of course, crony capitalism at its finest. Google's VP of Government Affairs and Public Policy for the U.S. and Canada wrote a letter to the U.S. Federal Reserve Board with suggestions about the development of FedNow, the central bank's forthcoming real-time payment RTP network slated to launch in 2023 or 2024 per the Economic Times of India. And so just if you guys aren't familiar with what the FedNow service is, the future of payments is FedNow, they say. The Federal Reserve banks are developing a new interbank 24/7, 365-day real-time gross settlement service with integrated clearing functionality. When available, the FedNow service will help enable financial institutions to deliver end-to-end faster payment services to the customers. With the FedNow network, your customers can send and receive payments anytime, any day, anywhere, and have full access to those funds within seconds. Interesting. Features under consideration in the FedNow service include processing individual credit transfers valued at $25,000 or less in real time within seconds on a 24-hour, 7 days a week, 365-day basis, settling payments through debits and credits to balances in financial institutions' master accounts at the reserve banks with an end-of-day balance recorded for each day of the week, providing liquidity through intraday credit on a 24-hour, 7-day-a-week, 365 days of the year basis under the same terms and conditions as for current Federal Reserve services. Wow, this is definitely a huge update. And so that's what kind of this is based off of. So Google in a letter suggests modeling FedNow off of India's unified payment interface, a network that enables mobile transactions, including offering support for low and high value payments and using messaging standards with extended metadata. Most notably, the tech giant proposed an API that would allow non-bank institutions to build services on top of the FedNow platform, a move that would easily offer access to the service, similar to how India mobile wallets leverage the UPI for transfers. Google's suggestions could be effective considering the UPI's success, but they could also accelerate the threat big tech firms are posing to payments and commerce in the U.S. The UPI's rapid growth represents a viable model for success, with monthly UPI transactions surging from 100,000 in the first year to over 15 billion 4 years later. It's undoubtedly an effective model for growth. But there's a big but. Google's proposal could benefit big tech firms and FedNow's peers. Google, which leveraged the UPI to build Google Pay and now counts the leading share of volume on that platform, likely sees a similar opportunity in FedNow as it edges into payments. So we know, again, this is crony capitalism at its finest, and who knows what's going to happen here, but definitely, Google has benefited greatly from this India UPI system. Monthly users of Google Pay now at 67 million, and this is since September, an increase of 45 million over September of 2018. So largely, a lot of that is from the UPI system. So you guys let me know your thoughts. Was this hack? Even someone internally from the U.S., like a company from the U.S. that's trying to leverage and position themselves to have the Fed adopt their framework so that they benefit from it. There are so many ways this could go, but I definitely don't think it was just a glitch. I really do not think. You guys let me know your 2 cents on this subject. If you found this video informative, make sure you guys like, share, and subscribe, and click that bell to receive more videos like this. I'm out of here, people. Holla!